If a player is elected to be put on trial, a loud bell is tolled, and the player is allowed to defend themselves. It is during this time that the next score of music begins, in which the music is low and solemn, as if allowing the defense to speak above it. Once the time for defense is up, the town is given the opportunity to vote if they think this player is guilty or innocent of the crimes of which they are being accused. It is during this time that the music returns to the heavy beating of the drum and is much more serious and methodical, similar to the music being played in the discussion. Similar to the last music we listened to, this piece is also very focused on the brass as the town is voting for justice. This theme of justice is very focused on this discussion and voting, really mainly the trial period of the game, which shows what is occurring at that time with the musical choices being made. As stated earlier, if a player is found guilty, they are put to death in front of the town. If not, the voting process may go again until the town decides they are not going to put somebody up, or until somebody is put to death. After this point, everyone in the town who remains goes back to their homes as evening approaches. This final section of music is far different than any of the others. It is much more dark and mysterious and reminiscent of people sneaking around through the night, which is exactly what occurs in the game. One of the most notable features of this piece is the chimes and the high-ranged instruments that rapidly alternate in pitch, high above the low, intense music below. When I hear that, it reminds me of people tiptoeing in the night, of people sneaking around, hiding in the shadows, which is very reminiscent of what is occurring in the game. Additionally, the sharp staccato notes played by the low string instruments add intensity to this section, as well as a darkness which is present in the night. Now that we have analyzed each individual piece, we can now analyze overall what this music is contributing to the gameplay itself. The first thing that can be talked about is the repetition of the music. While the score for each section of actions is varied greatly, each section repeats when that instance occurs every day, giving the players a structure musically as well as in terms of the play they are allowed to do, which in a world where so much can happen and there's such variation and fluctuality between every game, this structure is very needed in a game like this. The next thing that can be discussed is intertextuality. I mentioned earlier that the sections centered around the trial are very reminiscent of war games and the feelings of justice that are drawn up with the similar music. There's also themes drawn from suspense during the night when the music has an air of uncertainty about it, and when the player first logs in, when the player might not be sure of what they are entering, and this is a world of complete chaos. And so this uncertainty and suspense comes up again in this section as well. Finally, while the narrative of this game is created by the players as they go and collect information along the way, this game is highly focused on ludology, and the music supports this. For each section of gameplay, there is a new score to remind the players of what they are attempting to accomplish. During the day period, there are feelings of honor drawn up for those who have passed, and the players are reminded this is a time where they are supposed to sit and listen and observe and remember and respect those who have died. During the judgment and trial period, there are music that helps draw up those feelings, as I said earlier, of justice and honor, which reminds the players that during this time they're attempting to bring justice to the nefarious people in their town. At night, there is suspense, and players are supposed to be aware of what can happen in the night, and also what they are supposed to be doing, whether that is trying to figure out who the evildoers are and stop that suspense from happening, or if they are one of the evildoers, attempting to increase that chaos, and the suspense in that music is a drive for them to do their job and do it well. Overall, each section of the game helps support the player's gameplay and engages them in a unique way, whether it be to increase their feelings of justice that they are accomplishing, or reminding them of the evil they are supposed to be doing. In each section, the music helps support what the players are doing and helps engage them in a way they would not be engaged otherwise.